Hi guys, I'm just making sure that we're live inside the group. I've had a few technical issues this morning, so I just want to make sure that we're live and we're all functioning as we should be functioning. And it looks like that we are, but it looks like, let me just double check on this. Yeah, it looks like we are. So sorry for keeping you waiting. So if you catch me live, let me know hashtag live. Catch this on replay, let me know hashtag replay. If any of this, what I share with you now, resonates with you, then let me know inside the comments underneath, because I've got a deep story to share. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a series of like the mistakes I made getting to my first 100k in coaching sales. It actually looks like the connection is quite bad. Let me know if it's like really pixely on your end. I can see somebody watching. What's the quality of? Okay, I'm gonna shoot with this, and then we'll see how we go. If I need to do it again later on, then I will do. I'll just create a video and get it to you. Hi Fernando, nice to hear from you, buddy. Does he come across okay? Is the quality of the picture okay, Fernando? If you let me know, I appreciate that, because on what I'm seeing here on my computer, it's a little bit pixely. So I'm going to talk about the mistake that I made in the first 18 months of my business. And again, the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want you to make the same mistake. I do not want you to make the same mistakes as I made in my business. See, the thing is when I bring clients on board, right, I see the things that they're doing outside while they're posting, and I can see the mistakes even before they've actually, experienced the mistakes. And I can reach out to them straight away. I can say, thank you, Fernando, I appreciate that, but it's fine. So I can stop my clients from making the mistakes before they actually make the mistakes. I can shine the light on them. I know the mistakes that they're going to make even before they actually, get started. So everything I do is about, overcoming the problems before the problems exist, so they can just have an easier ride to hitting their targeted money that they want to achieve in the business. But my first 18 months in business, it was like a roller coaster ride, right? It was a roller coaster ride. And what I want to shine light on with inside this live today is how the economics of my business for the first 18 months were broken. And they needed to be fixed in order for me to hit six figures. But I want to really shine the light on the true conversation, why my economics were broken. So let me just paint a picture. If we look at the fastest way to hit six figures, right? The fastest way to hit six figures, baseline six figures, 100k in coaching sales is the fastest way to that is to have an offer that you're selling for 100k, right? That's the quickest way that you sell one client into 100k offer, and you're going to hit 6k, right? Six figures. The other way of doing that, right? The other way, which is not as fast, is have an offer that you're selling at 50k. So you need two sales at 50k, and you need six figures. Or you can have four sales, right, at 25k, and you're going to hit six figures. Or you can have five sales at 20k, you're going to hit six figures, right? You get the story, right? You get the gist. It's easy math. If you're selling something at 10k, 10 sales, and you've hit six figures. If you're selling something at 5k, 20 sales, and you've got to 100k sales, right? So that's like the economics of business. And that is really, if you look at the examples I've just given you, that's like the fastest path to hitting 100k in coaching sales. Now, whilst that might sound obvious, to me it wasn't when I first started. And my price point when I first started was around, if I remember correctly, was around about £250. £250, between £250 and £300. Right? Now, if you look at the economics of my business, right? I needed, in order for me to even hit 10K, I needed to serve 40 clients. So for me to hit 100K, right, I needed round about what? 400 clients over? I'm not so sure, right? But work out the math. I needed a lot of clients to allow me to hit that number, which meant that my economics in my business was broken. It was broken. But here's the thing. What we need to understand is, why were they broken? Right? Why were they broken? Well, here's what happened, is that it wasn't necessarily about the economics, right? That if I really show transparency, and that's why I'm doing this, and that's what I'm going to do now, if I peel back the layers of the onion, right, as we do as coaches, and I dig deeper into this conversation to understand what was really happening, it was all a reflection of me, right? It was all a reflection of me. Now, let me just shine light on the areas of problems that were stopping me from charging higher figures. Well, it was the value, right, that I put on me, and the value that I put on my information, my knowledge, my wisdom, my genius, the things that I do for my clients, right? So because I really didn't value myself, I had low self-esteem, low self-worth. I didn't value my information that I shared with my clients. That's one of the reasons why I didn't charge more than what I charged. And what I did is, I looked at what other people are charging in the marketplace, and I thought, well, okay, so they're charging this and they're charging this, and I'm going to sit somewhere in between. Now, looking back now, that was actually a very silly way, a very silly approach to having a figure for charging for your services. Because, the people I was potentially competing with, how did they come to their figures? Right? Were they also suffering with low self-esteem and low self-worth? Did they not value their knowledge, their wisdom, their principles, their values? Right? So, so they were charging low based on their own worth. So not based on anything else, right? Now also, so that was one factor that made me charge low prices, that made my business, the economics of my business was broken. Now, the other aspect of this was my money blueprint, the way that I was brought up believing what money was, and the experience that I experienced earlier in life around money, right? The conversations that people were having around me about money, or the lack of conversations that people were having around me about money. Because when I was brought up, money was a very taboo subject. Nobody spoke about money, right? You kept money close to your heart, to your sleeves. You didn't talk. You didn't reveal about how much money you got paid in a job. You didn't reveal about your wage. You didn't reveal about how much savings you had. You didn't reveal about how much money you got in your bank account. You didn't talk about how much your house was. You didn't talk about your payments. You didn't talk about your loans. You didn't talk about your debts. You didn't talk about money. Money, when I grew up, to be rich, to be successful, in order to have a lot of money, then you must have done a lot of harm. Money only comes to people that's born with a silver spoon in the mouth, or money is only for those other people, it's not for us. So money was a very taboo subject. So nobody really spoke about money, right? Nobody was educated on money. And there were nobody from what I remember, well, most definitely, certainly, 100% in our family, nobody was wealthy. Nobody was a millionaire. Nobody ran their own business. My granddad did. My nan and granddad did. But again, it was very old money, and the way that they looked after money and ran money, they didn't really talk about it or reveal about it. They didn't, so it was still a very taboo subject. But everybody else, associated with our family, friends and colleagues, nobody was wealthy, nobody ran their own business, and nobody ever spoke about money. And then if somebody did speak about money, they would quickly divert conversation onto something else, and then onto something else. Or they would just nip it in the bud straight away. And that's what I carried forward in me when I created my prices, because I would think, well, you know, £350 is a lot of money. And, you know, I'm asking for a lot, and which, you know, anything more than that, I wouldn't have been aligned with my money blueprint, with what I thought and believed about money, and with experiences that I brought up with. So they were the reasons, right, why my economics of my business was off. It wasn't that there wasn't money in circulation, right? Because money is always in circulation, and there's an abundance of money in circulation. But because of my beliefs, my money blueprints, and the way that I was brought up to understand money, right, that led me into the economics of my business being broken. So here's what happened. After the first 18 months of like running myself into the ground, having money coming in, but it's not been enough money to like allow me to live more thrively. I was always just surviving. Like, things seriously had to change. Things seriously had to change. I either went out of business, right, or and I had to get another job, or something drastically had to change. So here's what I did, because the first thing I wanted to do, or I didn't want to do, is I did not want to come out of business, right? I did not want to get a job. So I found this, right, the other day. Now, this is a folder, a book that I've had with me, right, ever since I've been in business, right? And I've not used this book for ages and ages and ages, but you can see there's loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of information in here that I've just been writing in, and like for the first 18 months, right? This is where I used to not journal. I'm not a person that journals, but I write down a lot of stuff regarding business and stuff like this. This is what happened. This is what really broke the camel's back. So I had some clients that were paying me very little money, and they were demanding, and they were never pleased with the results that I delivered, even though I was like, the results that I were delivering, I was increasing their sales by 100%, 200%, 300%. Their business had never been any better, yet they were like trying to squeeze as much out of me as possible. And it just led that my business, I was suffering because of that, right? So here's what I did. I took time out of my business, and I went and sat in my local Starbucks coffee, which back then was around about 25 miles away. I did not answer any emails that particular morning. I did not do anything, no services for anybody but that particular morning. Hi Mansour, thanks for showing up. Thanks for giving me some loving. So I took time out of my business. I did not answer any clients' calls whatsoever, and my phone was ringing off the hook. And I wrote myself 1, 2, 3, 4.
Here's what I found.
5, 6, 7 questions that I had to get deep answers on, I had to get clarity on before I walked away from Starbucks, right? So I had a question because I was not in flow. I've even wrote there, right? Not in flow. So I had to get clarity on everything that was happening around me in my current being. What am I doing in the present, right? And then I wrote everything about what's happening in the present. Where am I heading if I carry on? And then I wrote everything of, if I carry on doing what I'm doing right now, what are the consequences of my life, my health, my business, my financial situation, my mental well-being. What's it going to be? What's it going to be like in 8 months' time, 12 months' time, 18 months' time, if I carry on doing exactly what I'm doing? And then I wrote down, okay, well, I want to be in flow. Okay, so what does that look like? And by the way, right, nobody told me to do this. I just did it. Nobody told me to do this. Nobody inspired me to do this. Nobody told me to take business out of my, time out of a business and do it. I just knew there's something had to change. And for me, this was the logical thing that I needed to do, because I had nobody else to talk to at the time. So I put in, so what needs to happen to put me into flow, right? What do I need? What do I want to be doing? So I wrote down an extensive list of what I wanted to be doing. Where do I want to be heading? So future pacing forward, right? who am I going to be serving moving forward? Because it was clear that the people I was serving wasn't the people that was going to help me to like have the business that I want, have the life that I want, and have the money that I want. No disrespect to them whatsoever, right? But they just weren't the people, they weren't the businesses that I needed to be serving. What am I going to be serving them? How am I going to be serving them? And the bigger picture of what it all looks like, right? So you can see that I sat there and listen, right? As I was sat in Starbucks, now this is me really being transparent with you guys right now, right? And the reason why I'm doing this is because I do not want you to make the same mistakes as I did. When I was sat in Starbucks, this is how passionate I am about what I do. As I was sat in Starbucks and I'm writing answers to all these questions, and you know what Starbucks is like throughout the week. It's full of other business owners, entrepreneurs, all having meetings and getting together and right networking. I was sat in Starbucks by myself, and as I was answering these questions, I got tears just rolling out of my eyes, tears flooding down my cheeks, right? And I was trying to console it, but I was writing, because I wanted, right, to change my situation. That's how passionate I was about becoming a better business person, about achieving my dreams, about serving a different caliber of person, about having a bigger impact in the world. And once I got clarity on all these questions I'm sharing with you today, right, and I didn't just I didn't go surface level, I went deep. I went deep on my answers. And from then on, I walked out of that meeting, right, and meeting with myself, and I closed all businesses, right, with all clients apart from one. So I ceased all contracts that were open with all the clients apart from one, right? I terminated all the contracts, sent them an email straight away saying, from now on, moving forward, I will not be serving your business. They didn't like it, right? But at the end of the day, I needed to start pleasing myself as a business owner. Because at the end of the day, solely your business is here to serve you first. Help you to protect your dreams first, above and beyond anything else. You need to understand that, right? That is gold dust. So I walked out of that meeting, I terminated all contracts, bar one, and this is what I did. Right? I got real clarity on the value that I bring to the world, the value that I bring to a business. Yeah, I really understood that. I really stood in my power. Really took ownership of my craft, of my knowledge, of my wisdom, of my principles, my methodologies, the strategies that I use. And while strategies has changed, right, information that I've got, my value is still valuable, right? Also, what I did is I changed my beliefs around money. My money blueprint had to change. Here's what I did. I set myself a challenge and I increased my prices, right? This is going to scare a lot of you guys, right? But I increased my prices, but this is the truth. I increased my prices by 700%. I increased my prices by 700%. Everybody else around me, right, told me that I would go out of business. Everybody else around me told me that nobody would pay that. Everybody else around me told me I was silly, told me I was stupid, right? That's a bad business move. Everybody around me, especially my clients, because they asked me, why, and I told them, I was totally transparent with them, right? And they appreciated that, but I told them what I was going to be doing moving forward. Because they didn't want to lose me because I was increasing their business sales. They told me, right, that nobody's going to pay my new prices. Nobody's going to pay me at 700% on what I was currently charging, right? I went out there into the marketplace and I leveled up. I leveled up and I found a different caliber of person, right, in the marketplace who understood my value but also wanted massive results, and they had a huge problem in the marketplace. And I invited them to the call, They didn't go through a webinar. They didn't go through a sales funnel. They didn't do anything. They saw some of my content online. I invited them to a call. We had a conversation. This particular person at the time was one of the highest action coaches within inside the UK. If you understand action coaches are business coaches. An action coach is an American franchise, and I think it's globally. But this particular coach was one of the leading action coaches in the UK. We had a conversation. She says, that's exactly what I need. What do we need to do to get started? What's your prices? So I told her what we need to do to get started. I told her my price, and I said £18,000. I said £18,000. That was my new increased price, £18,000. Was I scared? Yes. Did it feel a little bit uncomfortable? Yes. But I said it. And she turned around and she said to me, that's great. When can we get started? How do I pay? She paid 50% up front. So that was like for a full 12 months. She paid 50% up front for 6 months. And then we worked together for a full year. That, my friends, right, proves that, like, if you're not earning the money that you're earning, or you're not charging the money that you're charging, right, look at the value, look at your own value. How much do you value your value? How much do you value your self-worth? Everything that you do, right? And look at your money blueprint, right? Because chances are, if you're not earning the money that you want to earn, or selling your courses or your coaching for the money that you want to sell it at, chances are them two things are off. As soon as somebody said to me, like, yes, on 18,000, I never turned back on a year-long program. Never turned back on a year-long program. And I've had more people buying at that level than ever before. Right? So there is an abundance of money out there. Money is always in circulation. Right? Money is flying above your head right now. Right? And there's millions and billions of transactions happening right now, today, as you're watching this live. But for some reason, if you're not having the money that you want to have land in your bank account, that's nothing to do with, well, there's a lack of money out there in the world. Nobody's spending money today. They are. They're just not spending it with you, and there's a reason behind that. And that was why my economics were broken in the first 18 months of me being in business. Let me know, right? Raise your hand if this makes sense. Raise your hand if you feel as though like you resonate with this. And it's like, okay, I need to like work some things out here, right? Now, if you've been following this series, right? So I talked about, I brought a client in for £25,000, right? And they paid 70% up front. So I went on this business course, this business retreat for 10 days in Thailand, and I did more digging on myself, more searching, more deep dive, more transformations for myself on that journey. And my coach back then, right, told me, Andy, like, this is worth so much more. This is worth so much more. You are worth so much more. So he set me a challenge again to increase my price. This is not about being greedy. This is not about being money hungry. Right? This is about charging for your true value, your true worth, right? And protecting your dreams. And also understanding that the results that you deliver your clients, right, far exceed, super exceed what it is that you're actually charging. Far exceeds what you're charging, right? Even at that level. So I did, right? I increased my prices again. And this gentleman booked me for a VIP day. We had a VIP day. After that VIP day, I closed him on a £25,000 year-long program. So people are out there, right? People are out there, and people are willing to invest the money. What you need to understand is your true value. You need to understand, right, your money blueprint. And if those two things are off, right, you need to fix them. You need to fix them. Now, the other thing is, like when I did £76,000, right, in 10 days from coming back from that retreat, right, I sold like something like, so there was a £25,000 offer, there were a couple of 10,000, no, there's a couple of £12,000 offers in there. There were quite a few £6,000 offers in there because I got lower tier levels. So, you know, people find the level, right? People find the level, and you've got to allow them to find the level. Here's my challenge to you, and then I'm going to be jumping away from this because I feel as though I've gone on a little bit of a tangent. Here's my challenge to you. I want you to increase your prices. I want you to increase your prices. And I want you to increase your prices by roughly 400%. And you might be thinking, Andy, I can't do that. Nobody's going to pay 400% on what I'm currently charging. But there is. There will be. Right? There's different people in the world. Right? There's some people that's going to wear what I've got here, which is an iWatch, right? But there's other people in the world that want to buy a Rolex. There's some people in the world that when they board a plane, they're going to turn right? And they're going to sit at the back of the plane. Whilst there's a small percentage of people that board that plane and they turn left, right? They fly business class. They fly in first class. Do your research, right? There's chocolate that you can buy in the world, right? There's like £250 for a bar of chocolate, whilst the majority of people in the world will just buy a Mars bar or a Snicker at maybe £1 or whatever you guys charge in America or wherever you are in the world, right? Right? There's a caliber of people in the world that would not even contemplate buying a Mars bar from a local shop and will only buy from here. And every marketplace, right? There's people, there's this level and there's this level. You've got to decide where you're selling. You've got to decide what areas you want to sell at. There's plenty of people who are willing to pay down here and they will never contemplate investing in this much up here. Right? If you're happy down here, right, charging this, then good for you. But if you want something bigger and better, right, if you want to build your business faster, then raise your standards, raise your levels. Okay, then guys, if you've got any questions around this, then just fire them underneath here and I'll get that back to you later on today. If you're up for the challenge, right, let me know. And let me know so the next time that you jump on a sales conversation, you speak your new price point. And you'll be surprised what happens. Okay then guys, love you like always and I'll speak to you soon.